Now.
On 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app.
O'Connor and Company.
8:37 here on the day that we officially, through a state funeral, send off President James Earl Carter. It's going to be insane downtown with the state funeral activities, but it's good practice because in, 10 days now, we'll have an inauguration downtown as well. This is a very busy time and a great time to have a foot of snow still sitting around.
Yeah, definitely not a good time to be driving.
Emily Dominich, this is days like this that I sort of think, oh, I miss California. And then you look and see what's going on in California, and you're reminded, okay, I'll deal with the snow a little bit because it's just horrific what's going on in Los Angeles in particular, the county I used to call home and the county that our next guest, Kurt Schlichter, calls home. He, of course, is the author of The Attack, and he's a senior columnist at Townhall, a retired lawyer and retired colonel in the Army. Kurt, always good to talk to you, my friend. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm about to go out to my car to go to the gym, and it's like under a bunch of ash. So
yeah.
That's cool.
And let's just be
global warming, because fires never happened before we started using plastic straws.
As a person from California, you're a person, we should get it out of the way. Kurt and his proximity geographically is not in any danger of these fires, although the smoke and the fallout of the ash is horrible as the wind is blowing your way there in Manhattan Beach. But it's funny, Kurt, having lived through so many fires when I lived there, oftentimes you'd say, oh, no, that's just for those people who live in those areas. But we've never seen anything like this. The Pacific Palisades, Altadena, sure, they're kind of in the zone there. These Hollywood Hills fires that now evacuated down to Sunset Boulevard, what is going on there from your perspective?
Yeah, that's pretty insane. Look. Here's the secret. California is built in kind of a chaparral desert, and deserts burn,
Yeah.
And
new there.
So, you and I, when we were growing up, there were always fires, and the idea that this is some sort of new or special thing is crazy. But the problem is you have a Democrat administration that's failed to manage anything about the fires from buildings to reservoirs.
I agree with you that fires happened when we were younger and we were kids, but not with this intensity, this does seem more extraordinary.
Well, it's got like 40 years and 50 years of fuel built up because you're not allowed to go in and do controlled burns and all the other things because, our Democrat government is a total disaster. And let's add on it the, lesbians of heft, all named Christine, who run the LA Fire Department. They're not hiring for quality anymore. They're hiring to make the world's least sensual pornography.
Correct.
Right.
You could always count on Kurt to bring the Schlichterisms to the table, even at times like this. Can I really
tell me I'm wrong? Right?
Can I really quickly ask?
On the plus side, they're diverse.
Let me ask you about the National Guard because you were very active on social media, wondering where the National Guard was, and you have experience there because you have been deployed in fires gone by. What's the status of the National Guard right now? Have they been called finally?
Great question. I have absolutely no idea. Thank you, media. I have zero idea what's going on. The National Guard brings a bunch of remarkably effective capabilities to any kind of national disaster, everything from security to medical to logistics to engineering. They don't go put out the fires. They do a lot of the other things that enable firefighters to put out the fires. And it was only yesterday that the Guard was called up. They said, well, we're calling 2,000 people, which immediately alerts you it's amateur hour because you don't mobilize numbers, you mobilize units. When you mobilize a unit, you're mobilizing capabilities. When you mobilize numbers, you're trying to get people to shut up and stop complaining. So I really have no idea what they're doing, but there are a lot of things that they could do. And I mean, in my mind, I'm immediately mapping out exactly how I deploy, where I'd have my guys muster, where I'd have my guys move to. It's just after 23 years of doing it for earthquakes, riots, fires, plagues of frogs, it's just kind of natural to me, even though it's been 10 years since I retired.
Kurt, what do you think about Governor Newsom really just like passing the buck to all the local officials and saying, hey, this isn't my problem?
Well, that's kind of the most nuisance thing possible. Remember, he's also blaming Donald Trump because Donald Trump was mean somehow. So apparently, it's Trump's fault that a state where there are literally no Republican officials, while Trump is not president, he's managed to screw everything up. What can't Trump do? Here's the question. Are the stupid liberal people who elected these folks, whose homes just burned, because Pacific Palisades is the nucleus of the tumor of leftism in America, are they going to vote for Democrats again? Because it's kind of like the whole subway thing. When somebody gets set fire on the New York subway, I'm like, well, I can't care more about your subway than you do.
Yeah.
You elect these people, or if you keep electing these people, you're free to act surprised when the most predictable thing in the world happens, but don't ask me to care, because obviously you don't.
Kurt Schlichter,
or you care more about your ability to kill babies.
Is this your official announcement to run for governor of California?
I don't want to take the cut in pay or prestige.
That's fair enough. Kurt, I'm glad you're safe and your family's safe. I know that you and I both. I was just watching Fox News here in the studio, and our mutual friend John Kahn, who was one of Andrew Breitbart's best friends, he was just on the air talking about how he had lost his home.
We know a lot of folks who have.
Yeah.
I mean, it's terrible. It's bad. It's thousands of houses. I'm surprised there aren't more deaths. Thankfully, there aren't. But
yeah,
it's really bad, and I think a lot of people who are rebuilding are going to get a harsh reawakening when they start dealing with the bureaucracy that they voted for. So that should be...
And all of the insurance regulations that just went into effect that many people are just learning now that they don't have the coverage they thought they had. And that's, of course, because of the insurance commissioners of California, a Democrat.
Until I stopped being a lawyer last week, I worked a lot with insurance companies. Here's the thing. You've got to price insurance to cover the risk.
Yeah.
I love these people going, you care more about profits than people. Yes, they're companies. That's right. They need to take in more money than they spend out on payments, on claims. You've got to take more in premiums than in claims. If you don't let them do the idea that somehow they're going to order these insurance companies to take a loss is the quintessential liberal Californian solution. Let's just make them take a loss, and then when they stop selling insurance, you get tax surprise.
Well, to sort of bounce off of a statement you just made, people always ask me, will California ever vote for a Republican governor or a Republican mayor of Los Angeles? And I always say the same thing. Things have to get so bad that they will not just focus on how easily they can kill babies before they're born. And maybe this is it. Maybe this is that tipping point. We got to leave it there. Kurt, glad you're safe, glad your family's safe, and hang in there.
Okay. Ahoy. That's
Kurt Schlichter. Ahoy to you. It was fun to introduce him as a former lawyer.
I like that.
He just retired officially as a lawyer.
It's nice to hear somebody get to enjoy their retirement.
Yeah, and not really. I got to be honest. Now that he's got more time on his hands, he's a pain in the butt. He's constantly texting
calling
me.
You
oh my God,
got
it's
all the
insane.
ideas.
Get away. That's like I'm his work wife
get
all
a
of a
life,
sudden.
Kurt.
8:45 WMAL traffic and weather every 10 minutes. First on the phone.